the genuine determination to be free from the samsara, these ideas. And then is the principle, Dharma, it is the bodhicitta. And that is like a great vehicles. It says the traveling the path of the great vehicle, the essential is to have genuinely arousing the bodhicitta. And this is also very, very important in order to practice authentic Dharma. These two kind of the preliminary aspect, to have like a genuine determination, want to practice Dharma, want to be free from the samsara, want to be achieve the enlightenment, benefit for the sentient beings. And once it's like to be in the path of the bodhisattvas and the great vehicles, and we need beneficial commitment, which is the arousing bodhicitta. It's like a kind of help to us, and also it's the principle, the body of the Dharma, it is the bodhicitta. It is very necessary. Then the minimum is to have such unshakable faith in the three precious jewels that you would never renounce them. Even to save your life, without that, simply reciting prayer and wearing yellow robes is no proof that you have entered to the Dharma. It is absolutely the truth. If you haven't got determined mind, like genuine determination mind, and we haven't got like a genuine arousing bodhicitta, and also it's like a kind of trust, faith in the like a kind of unshakable faith. Unshakable faith, like we haven't got any knowledge about the three jewels. What is the Buddha? What is the Dharma? What is the Sangha? Why I need to take refuge in Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas? What if I'm connected to the Buddha? Which kind of I can to receive the benefit? And why I need to rely on the Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas? And also each individual Buddha, Dharma, Sanghas, each individual, there's such, like each one has 8 qualities. And this, we don't know like this. And then it's difficult to have unshakable faith, and difficult to understand that really they are precious jewel or not. And we do not know like this. It's like a kind of, and we don't know, and then it's difficult to have the unshakable faith. You would never like renounce them. So that means it's like you never ever hated to them. So, okay, if you really to follow up the Buddhas, and you really understand Buddha as the Buddha, and compassion, wisdom, omniscient, and any perspective, you understand the qualities of the Buddhas, there's nothing hesitations, nothing can renounce them. Even to save your lives, maybe it's like even them, and something is like a kind of risky your life, but you never have renounced or the hesitation to the three jewels. And like one in the ancient times, there's one monk, some Tirthikas, they captured this monk to say, told to a monk, the Tirthikas say, if you abandon and to give up the, follow the three jewels or the two faith, three jewels, and then we don't kill you. If you don't stop, we want to kill you. And then this monk says, it's like how I need to, why I need to like kind of to stop or to renounce on the three jewels. It's not necessary. If you kill or not kill, I never to give up like this. If then they killed, but afterward, there is something, many different signs, signals coming. The killers was so much regret. And like this, of course, it is self, is like kind of the seed of the liberation. Like this, we are really, it's like even someone says like, risky your life, but you never lose like interest to the Buddha Dharma Sangha. You never lose faith into the Buddha Dharma Sangha. That is like a kind of necessary to check again and again. We have run-ons, we have like hesitated, we have like kind of like a little bit doubt to the Buddha. And then we have automatically doubt to the Dharma. Then automatically to have doubt, hesitation to Buddha Dharma, then it's Sangha, obvious, absolutely. Then it's these qualities is difficult to receive our own self. That is the point. It is like we say many times, if we are follow up some teachers given education, any language or driverless, any, if we don't trust to this teacher, really we think it's like these teachers or kamsa or so, and then it's very difficult to trust. And the teacher says something, it's difficult to go to direct deep in the heart. If the teachings doesn't go into our heart, then it is like kind of the knowledge and the power, strength, qualities is never pulling one jaw and to other jaws. From one mind to our mind is very difficult. And therefore, and the first time is very important to trust to the teachers, then is the teaching, and then is the Sangha. Here is the enlightenment we're talking about. I'm going to take refuge in the Buddha. I have irreversible, unshakable faith to the Buddha. That means it's like Buddha, not necessarily only the Shakyamuni, Buddha Shakyamuni. Whoever to realize the Buddha nature, whoever realized the meaning of the compassion, this person, this being is like extraordinary, unmistakable persons. And then there are such and such qualities, and the wisdom aspect, and also it's the luminosity aspect. There is like inconceivable, untalkable qualities there is. And like whatever these persons, beings taught to us, everything is the truth. And we can't just, everything is acceptable and beneficial. Then is we call talking about the Dharma. And then Sangha means it's like someone's to really serious follow the Buddha's teachings. And this Sangha is never teach to us negative things. Never showing some negative things. All the time this Sanghas to be sympathetic, telling to us very kind. And this kind of our companion. When we traveling from the liberation path to the liberation, and we need this kind of companions. And therefore, 3 jewels, even you risk something, you never to have renounce, or it's like hesitations. We need like this. Without that, simply recite someone's prayers, and also someone's like a kind of the wearing the yellow robe, monastery robes, and looks like Dharma, looks like a monk, nuns, looks like Dharma practitioners. But if we haven't got any faith, trust into 3 jewels, then it's like a very much our practice in Dharma is a hypocritical way. Then it doesn't come into the quality in ours. That is like difficult to say you have entered to the Dharma. And make sure that you know how to definitively identify each of these freedom and advantages, and to check whether you have them yourself. This is of the crucial very much point, time to time, over and over, to check again. This is the 34 human qualities of like this. And now next the page 18, it is the 3rd chapter, reflecting on image. that how the showing how difficult it is to find the freedoms and advantages. There is a kind of the example and how it is the difficult to find the human existence, the freedoms and advantages. The Buddha said that it's the more difficult for being to obtain the human birth than it would be for a turtle coming up from the depth of the ocean to put its head by the chance through the opening of the wooden yoke, thrusted around by a huge wave on the surface. This is kind of the very much like almost impossible examples here. And if we can to imagine, there's a big ocean, and inside there is one blind turtle, and this blind turtle is like each 100 years, and he's coming out to showing the head outside. And we can to imagine in the top of this ocean there is one yoke, like the farmers, they put in the neck of this cows, horse, and the yaks. And there is this hole. This yoke is carrying the everywhere by these oceans. Ocean has a big kind of the waves. But some coincidentally, yoke is coming, and the blind turtles coming. Sometimes this yak can to go to the neck of the turtle's head, and sometimes it's possible. But this is really because turtle hasn't got eye, blind, and also yak is not play one place because it's carried by the waves everywhere. If a turtle is every day is going out, maybe possible, but each 100 years once coming out, like this kind of, then it's coming together, this yoke and the turtle's blank turtle head is possible or not? Almost we can just say impossible like this. This is possible, but it's very difficult. But to obtain the human existence, the more difficult than that. And like this, imagine the whole the cosmos of the billion universe as the vast oceans. Floating open, it is the yoke, a piece of the wood with a hole in it that can be fixed around the horns of the drought oxen. This yoke, anyway, it's like farmers, they're using this yoke, and for doing for the fields, trusted with their hithers, and the feather by the waves, and the waves to carrying, and it's a different ways. This trusted hither and the tether by the tether? The wave. Sometimes the eastward, sometimes westernward, never stay in the same place even for an instant. About this yoke. Yoke sometimes east wind is carrying, and sometimes the western wave is like a wind carrying everywhere. This yoke, the yoke is not stay one place, and because it's the wave, it is the true strong. I'm sleeping. Okay, this example wonderful. And the deep down in the depth of the ocean lives blind turtle who raise up to the surface only once every 100 years. That the yak and the turtles might meet is the extremely unlikely. It's the truth, but sometimes possible. And it's difficult to mix it like meeting this kind of, but to obtain a human existence is the more difficult. Because yoga itself has inanimate, no mind, no looking eyes, and does not intentionally seeking out the turtle, because it's like an inanimate, no mind. The yogis cannot researching. The turtle being the blend has no eyes with which it support to the yogis. If the yogi were to stay in the one place, maybe it's possible, turtle's neck. There might be at the chance of the meeting, but it is continually on the move. The yogi everywhere. Western waters, east waters, it's waves carrying around. If the turtle were to spend its entirely some time swimming around the surface, turtle is going to round and like all the times outside the swimming, and then mate is possible perhaps. Cross the path with the yoke, maybe it's possible, but it like a surface only once every 100 years is a turtle's coming. The chance of the yoke and the turtle coming together are therefore extremely small, very rare. It's almost we can to say that impossible to this kind of happen. But this is difficult, impossible, like same as this is a human existence. It's like we need specific cause and conditions. It's very difficult to obtain the human existence. Okay, do we have some questions? Okay, there is one, I don't know who is put the questions. I just read, okay? Someone's asked me question, why is there something instead of nothing? This is a completely American questions. And you don't know, like kind of, once I was visited one as like a seminars, and then it's like one lady, she asked to this teacher, maybe she has a problem with her children, relative, and she doesn't say. She said, I have one question, and what? If some human relationships is problems, how would you give advice? And then this Lama said, what can I to say? If she needs to clarify it, to say, I have with problem my husband, my children, my friend, if you say, then this perspective you need to give answer. But if says generally, what? And if there's some problem, the human relationships, what would you give advice? What could you give answers? What can this give? He gives something, but for me it's very difficult. Which one is? If you give answer problem to with your husband or with your children, with your something, maybe answers it doesn't corresponding, and therefore it's like here is also, why is there something instead of the nothing? Do you understand? Why is there something instead of nothing? It's question. And this is a really question. Instead of something, this means it's like maybe I would to say this question is like maybe everything is transitory, maybe something is there, but on instead immediately there's nothing exists. Maybe why we can to say, probably, and this, I guess, okay? I guessed. And what do you mean? What do you mean instead? My questions, instead. What is rather?
Rather than, so. You say there is something, but why is there something?
But there are something, then, rather than the nothing. You mean that?
I mean, the person who asked the question said,
Why is there something instead of the nothing?
Yeah, you could just say, why is there something? There could simply be nothing.
Huh?
The question is, why is there something? Because there could simply be nothing.
If there's no nothing news, this is the best news, yes?
What did you say, sorry?
And then you don't understand my question. If there's no nothing news, best news.
Yeah, probably.
It's the same, yes? If there's nothing existence, then what is there to be something? Yeah, it's absolutely, there's nothing, then there's...
It's not my question.
Then what is your question?
I just try to make it maybe more comprehensible.
For example, can you say, not kind of the academic way, just to say the point out, can you ask questions?
From what I understand, maybe the person should raise, but I understand that.
Okay, Kempo, he said he understand. If you say, and all the phenomena, there's nothing truly existence, then why we are seeing something? You mean that?
No, I don't think that was the initial question, but maybe the person should just intervene.
Okay. This you need to clarify these questions, okay? Maybe it's, I says your thinking is like instead of the nothing said. There's a something instead of the nothing. There's a something instead of the nothing. Maybe you need to clarify it. And okay, then the second one is when you say in the beginning the horse was already a horse, even if it is appearances was the difference. What is the beginning? The beginning of what? Okay, this is maybe you can to say. Yesterday, maybe my says. Your beginning is not talking about your true nature of the beginnings. This beginning means is like kind of the element is coming like this. Element is producing our body, come from that. Each time is produced something that is this race or lineage of the family, lineage of the trees. It's the beginners. Maybe before there's a horse, it's not existence, but different element is coming, produced in the Buddhist perspective. It's naturally occurring. It's nothing could have created any others. And some primary ooze, it is something, there is something code and condition, or heat is something. There's mushrooms, enter inside something consciousness. This mushroom is this kind of produced the horse's body, horse's quality. Then if you developed this region, not consciousness, physical, dhyana, and this one is like continue, it's horse. Your region is the horse. That is the meaning of the beginning. Horse is like this lineage, families. Horse is never become the tiger. Horse is never become the yak. It is flesh, 5 element. Everything is the, but this, if this seed is developed, there is a horse seed. If this seed is completely broken, finished, now you can to create the element, maybe something horse, but not the beginners. and this. This beginning means it's like a human existence. When it's like if there's one human is appear in this world, this is not a monk, this is not animals, this is a human. Of course, we are also species, but it is a human species. Of course, we are sentient beings, but human sentient beings. And it doesn't matter you using like this, crow, or maybe you're using 2 legs, or maybe your mouth is like this. It doesn't matter. It is the human. And the beginning of the when arrived human is appeared in this world. That is the my meaning of the beginners. Beginnings, what is the beginnings? The beginning of the what? That is. For example, beginnings, this morning is the beginning of the today. That meaning, my meaning. And that is. And also it's like, other there is a beginning means there's many different meaning the beginning. My answer is that, maybe the question persons were like this.